record this session so that we can put it on our YouTube channel later for anyone that might miss it today. So thank you all for joining us today, this afternoon. My name is Jennifer Bateman, and when I was new to NARST, I really had no idea what was going on. So I thought it would be helpful to kind of have a little session for those graduate students new to NARST, or if you're a new member to NARST. So I'll go ahead and share my screen and we can get started. So just what we're going to do today and what we're going to talk about, we'll all kind of introduce ourselves quickly. We will hear, I'll talk a little bit about the membership committee. Melanie's having problems getting on, so I can go over some of the things that she has on our slide. And then my co-chairs and I will talk about the graduate student committee, and we'll have some time for questions. Actually, there's Melanie. Yay, she got on. So that's really exciting. All right. So again, welcome. Oh, I forgot to mention, should you need closed captioning, it should be available to you. My name is Jennifer Bateman. I'm the chair of the Graduate Student Committee. I'm currently a postdoc at the University of Georgia. I graduated last year from Clemson University. And we'll let Melanie introduce herself really quickly. Yay.
Yes, and thank you for sending the meeting ID. I was able to go that route by going into my browser, so it didn't link me to my band account. Yeah, so I'm Melanie Kinski, and I am currently the chair of the membership committee, and I am really excited to be here and share some things. And this is Rosie. She's waving to everybody on the screen. This is my 1-year-old who will hopefully be really good during the Zoom.
Savannah or Alex?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Alex. I am co-chair of the Graduate Student Committee, and I am the chair of the Networking and Communication Subcommittee. So I am currently in my 3rd year at Florida International University, where I'm a PhD candidate in the biology department, conducting biology education research.
Hi, I'm Savannah Hayes. I'm also co-chair. I'm the chair of the Research Symposium Subcommittee, and I am a curriculum manager at Space Center Houston.
So first, we're going to let Melanie talk a little bit about the membership committee, what they do, and what they can do for you.
All right. And so since all of you are here, I'm guessing that you are all active members on the NARST listserv and in the member portal. But if for some reason you've found your way here and you're not, it is a wonderful opportunity to stay up to date on any events that are occurring virtually throughout the year. The new NARST leadership has, and I say new NARST leadership, over the last few years, she muted me. They've really wanted to have members engage more in between annual meetings. And they've done a wonderful job of setting up this portal, having virtual events, professional development opportunities based on interests through the SIGs and the RIGs, virtual writing retreats. Some are hosted by the membership committee. I think the international committee is going to host something in the future, but really great opportunity to stay up to date. Make sure your bio is relevant. You'll get your job posts through the member portal also. I was on there last night just kind of checking things out, and I saw that someone recently posted a job. So if you are getting ready to hit the job market and you need some insight into what's available, that's a really great venue for finding jobs as well. Some of the things that I encourage you to keep on your radar are some membership committee sponsored sessions. The first is a welcome session. So it is for first time attendees. And when you register for NARST, even if you've attended virtually in the past, please check the button that says you're a first time face-to-face attendee. We've asked for that on the registration form to be a little bit more clear because some virtual attendees were not checking that box, and they were attending for the first time face-to-face last year and did not get a treat bag. So when you check that little box, if you are a first time face-to-face attendee, you get a little goodie bag full of some local treats. So please make sure to check that box if this is going to be your first to NARST. But the welcome session just gives you an overview of the program, allows you to meet some of the NARST leadership team. Alyssa is our graduate student representative on the membership committee, and so she is going to co-present that session with me and give the graduate student perspective of what it's like to be a part of NARST and why we keep coming back. And it's an opportunity for you to meet some other first-time attendees. The Early Career Forum, it really is geared toward the early career faculty, junior faculty, but I attended as a graduate student, and it was so helpful to kind of see where I was heading, to hear the conversation. It's a panel, and we are able to ask some questions from a variety of people in informal science, full professors, associate professors, and such, and to kind of gain some insight into what your future might look like. It is a great opportunity for that. And that is happening during the NARST sponsored breakfast on the second day. So we are encouraging you to grab your breakfast and come on into the room and just be part of that conversation. The Mentor Mentee Nexus, which is different from the Graduate Student Forum Mentor event. This is an option when you register. If you click on being interested in having a mentor, we are going to get your name and list. There should be a separate sign up. And I was on the graduate student committee. I cannot remember how it rolled out in the past for your program, your mentor program, but we will end up getting your information to set you up with a mentor. That is going to occur. It's like a little mixer thing right before the presidential welcome, where you'll come into a room, you'll have a mentor, you'll chat about NARST. We try to find some very senior faculty who have been members of NARST for a very long time to join the Mentor Mentee Nexus and act as mentors, because they just have that institutional depth of knowledge that they can offer you. But you'll come to that, and then we're hoping that mentors and mentees will kind of mosey on over to that presidential welcome session together and continue those conversations, maybe introduce you to some other members of NARST who have been active for a while. And so that's the Mentor Mentee Nexus option. And then we have virtual writing retreats. We did host one over the summer, and we typically hold one right before the conference. It's a really nice opportunity to put finishing touches on your presentation or start to turn that proposal into a manuscript. So we do encourage you to take advantage of all of the events that you see that interest you, but these are some really, really good ones that are part of NARST. There's also on the first day of NARST pre-conference workshops. So please take a look at those and register for any of those. That's a really good way to network and kind of get an idea of some faculty who have the same research interests as you, which tend to become some really great informal mentors for you as you continue your progress throughout your graduate studies and enter your early career. So, and that's us in a little bubble. If you have questions or anything, please feel free to email me, but NARST has a lot of really great opportunities to get involved. So we look forward to seeing you in DC.
Excellent. Thank you, Melanie. I'll pause here for just a second if anyone has questions for her. I know she might have to jump off early. So if anyone has questions, please feel free to shout them out or drop them in the chat. Not yet. You don't know what you don't know, right? All right. Well, if there are any and Melanie needs to step out, I'll make sure that she gets them. So moving on, the next committee we wanted to talk about a little bit was the Graduate Student Committee. Within the Graduate Student Committee, there are 4 different subcommittees. So that's why I have 2 great co-chairs. because that would be a lot to lead as one person. So I'll just briefly share a little bit about the two subcommittees that I chair, and then Savannah and Alex will share their subcommittees as well. So within the Graduate Student Committee, one of the committees is the Awards and Scholarship Committee. We have a mentor award that we gave out last year as the first year. Janet Carlson was the recipient of that award from Stanford. And that award took multiple years to get through the board. And it's a great award. It's for current or 1 year removed graduated graduate students to nominate their mentor. And then the mentor also, or the nominee mentor also will have part of the, have some things to send in. And then there's a process that we go through with our rubric and finally deciding who might get that. So that is awarded at the awards luncheon during the conference. So we're excited that that closes the end of next week, I believe. We also do have 2 scholarships that we offer. We offer a travel scholarship to our annual conference. So we have about $500 that we can award to 10 graduate students. And that money goes to help you get to the conference. So you can use it on airfare, you could use it on hotel or those types of travel. And then we also have a membership scholarship. We did not do it last year, but we're instituting it again this year. And that scholarship is to help graduate students with part of their membership due fees. So it'll be about half, $35 to $40 of your membership dues fees. And again, those applications will be coming out probably the end of this month. So in the next 2 weeks. And you can fill those out and apply for them. The other subcommittee that I had is called the Graduate Student Forum. This is a picture of the forum from, I believe, 2 years ago. We have a fall webinar forum and also a spring conference session. Both of those are open events to graduate students. The fall forum is also open to graduate students that aren't necessarily NARST members yet. Some of you might have gotten this email because maybe your advisor forwarded it to you or another graduate student in NARST forwarded it to you. So we welcome those who are not members yet to take part. Our fall webinar series this December will be entitled Collaboration and Partnerships. And we're talking to early career faculty members, mid-career faculty members, as well as some folks outside of academia about how they build relationships and partnerships and how they collaborate through their professional career until now through maybe grant projects or through writing. And a couple of our early career researchers were very active and had a lot of collaborations as graduate students. So we're interested to see how they kind of form those as well. So that will be in early December. There will be emails that come out that you can register much like this. And that will be much more interactive where you'll be able to talk and interact with the panelists, and we'll have small breakout rooms in order to do that. The spring conference session, we're actually changing it up a bit this year where we did something very similar where we would have somebody in the field in academia or outside of academia come and kind of host a roundtable session. But we got some feedback and we're looking to make it more graduate student centered. So we're hoping to make this more of a networking event around your research interests, your interests around different theoretical perspectives, more things like that, so we can really get to know each other because these are the types of relationships when you graduate that are going to keep going, and you'll hopefully find collaborations that way. So with that, I will pass it on to Alex.
Yes. So as mentioned, I am the chair of the subcommittee, the Communications and Networking Subcommittee. And with this subcommittee, we aim to do a few different things, but mostly related to community building and also access to resources or promoting knowledge of certain resources. So some of the things that we engage in, for example, are we release usually a newsletter in the fall and then a newsletter in the spring. This newsletter will usually have some sort of article that relates to topics of interest that graduate students might be thinking about. So for example, last fall, I wrote an article related to positivity and like how to find positivity when faced with a lot of negative moments, and tips and tricks for handling that. And we also previously ran a writing series where we talked about different aspects on how to write, different aspects of a paper, whether it's like the beginning of the paper or the end of the paper, because, as graduate students, we're expected to do a lot of different things, but, how often do we actually get the information given to us with the proper supports to be able to accomplish the goals that we have set for ourselves? But of course, in addition to being provided with access to different resources and supporting each other through these different processes, we also have a focus on community building aspects. So like right now, the subcommittee is discussing some sort of event in the spring that would get us together to chat and get to know each other while also connecting it to our writing goals. But right now we're still in the early phases of finalizing that. But at the conference itself, we also host the graduate student luncheon, as a way to get graduate students together, and it happens at the beginning of the conference. So especially for those that this might be your first time going to the conference, it's a nice way to begin that networking process early. Because like, of course, the big thing about conferences is that, of course, you're going to be exposed to a lot of good information, a lot of good wisdom, but those connections you make could take you even further. So we try to facilitate connections between graduate students in that way. And then the other big thing we do at the conference is we help put on the scavenger hunt. Each NARST conference takes place in a different city, and part of being in that city is hopefully finding time to explore the city, right? So we try to identify different landmarks or spots to encourage attendees to go to, take pictures with it, and then we raffle off different prizes as part of the scavenger hunt. But all in all, the purpose of subcommittee again is to think about different ways to support the membership, both with access to resources and skill development, but also through community building and networking. All right, thank you.
Yeah, like I said, I'm the chair of the grad student research symposium. And so our goal is to get graduate students to submit abstracts of works in progress. And then we work to pair them with a mentor as they progress throughout their paper. And it culminates with a poster presentation at the annual conference. And so I actually volunteered on this committee 2 years ago. And then once I got on the committee, I learned from the chair all about this committee, and then I chaired it last year and this year. So someone else will be taking over this in the future from our subcommittee. But we're in the process right now. We got submissions for this annual conference. The deadline's usually right after the NARST deadline. So in the future, if you're interested in that and you don't think you have a paper that's fully developed yet and you could use some feedback on it, submit to the research symposium instead. I think there's a little bit of misunderstanding sometimes that submitting to the symposium doesn't go through the Oxford Abstract portal like all of the NARS submissions. Since this is through the grad student committee, we have our own submission system, so we have access directly to everyone who submits. And so right now, yeah, we're reviewing abstracts for next year. Once we figure out the cutoff point, usually it's between 20 to 25 presenters. We pair you with a mentor. And so the mentor, you meet with them virtually. We're going to have designated time at the conference this year for presenters to meet with their mentors. And hopefully you can get some guidance from someone outside of your university. And it helps with networking that maybe you wouldn't have met if not for the symposium. They're paired up based on your research area and your interest. And they help you, sorry about that, they help you develop your paper over the next few months. And then once your paper is somewhat developed, you create a poster, you present that at the conference. And then hopefully this year we can have a webinar afterwards about working to work that paper into a possible publication. So we weren't able to do that last year. Hopefully we can have that this year and open that up to presenters from the past and other grad students who would be interested in that. So yeah, if you have any works in progress, we do like for you to have some kind of data collected, or at least data collected by the time of the conference for you to present kind of prelim findings. Go ahead and submit, and we'd love to see you at the symposium in the future.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, the research symposium is a great place for works in progress for sure. I don't know that NARST has a official works in progress, so this is a really good place for graduate students who might be a little nervous about getting their work out there, to get it out there on the international stage. And it's great for other people to come. And it is really well attended by NARST membership, so you'll interact with a lot of different people. So that is really all we plan to talk about today. I wanted to thank Melanie, Alex, and Savannah for giving us some more information into the committees and what we do. So we will just open it up to questions. If you forget your question and want to ask later, here are some email addresses to get in touch with us. info@narst.org. We'll go to the main NARST membership should you have questions for Melanie or for other committees. NARST grad committee will come to us. And if you want to volunteer with the GSC, there is a QR code, and I'm going to drop the link in the chat. And this is informal volunteering. And I see somebody just asked if you wanted to get involved. Can you help place us in an area? Yes, absolutely. We usually need a lot of support and awards and scholarships, to be honest, because sometimes we know the people that are submitting those, and we don't want to be biased in any way. So I think last year I had about 15 people reviewing awards and scholarships for us, just because of those biases and those issues, and or someone might be submitting an award or to get a scholarship themselves. So we can definitely place you somewhere that we need support. We also usually need support in the forum with small things like creating flyers or getting information out there, things like that. I'm sure Alex is always going to be looking for someone to write something for the newsletter for the group. So there's a lot of different ways if you're interested in getting involved to do that. And we'll just pause for a few more minutes if anybody else has any questions. We're happy to answer. If you're not familiar, NARST has a academic journal called JARST, Journal of Research and Science Teaching. So that is one of the things that the organization supports as well. The organization also supports several summer school opportunities for graduate students. This coming summer will be the Sandra K. Abel Institute for Doctoral Scholars, often referred to as SCADES. So that will be something that graduate students can apply to. NARST also supports graduate students going to the ASERA and the ESERA, which are the international, the European and the Australian versions of NARST, their summer schools. So there's a lot of opportunities for travel and for networking literally around the world. If you're interested, you just have to pay attention to your NARST email. And like Melanie mentioned earlier, if you're a member, you'll be getting the emails. And you'll be on the member portal, but if you're not, you might have to ask around, and a lot of those opportunities are only available to membership.
I have one other thing I'd like to say about what NARST is doing too. So there's the early career forum that Melanie was talking about, and this will be more applicable if you move into a postdoc or early career position in the future, but just to keep in mind, Angela Calabrese Barton and Julie Luft have started the NARST Early Career Institute. And so it's for postdocs and early career faculty or any early career STEM education related career. That it's virtual throughout the summer. They do meet at NARST. There's a designated time to meet at NARST, but all of the workshops and speakers all take place virtually throughout the summer. And it's just all about how to develop in your career and whatever career you're choosing. You're broken down into small groups that have similar research interests to you, so you get to network. But I was a part of that this past summer, and it was really helpful just listening to all the different speakers they had come in and work through different things we did in our small groups. So keep an eye out for that in the future. I'm assuming they're going to do it again. This past year was the first year for it. But yeah, get involved in that too. It was really helpful.
Yeah, Savannah, I think it's gonna opposite scades. So they'll have the doctoral one year and then they'll have the early career the other year. But it should be available again.
Yes.
And yes, you know, I can ask this question. We actually have a board meeting this weekend. I'm not sure if it's best to become a member right at the first of the year, right? Because then it's the entire calendar year. I'm pretty sure that's true. You can also register, you can also pay your membership when you register for the conference. And so off the top of my head, I can't remember exactly when that happens. I think it is in January, which then your dues will be good for the whole year. But graduate students do have a bit of a discount on the dues and the conference, which is also helpful if maybe you get some funding from somewhere, you can use that towards those costs as well.
Yeah, I think it did used to run on a different schedule, but now it's January 1st through December 31st. So I would wait until January at this point. You're not going to miss out on anything till the end of the year, but.
And we'll let you come to our webinar without being a member. Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm. All right, well, if there's nothing else, we really appreciate you guys spending a couple minutes with us today. If you had friends that were planning to come but didn't get to, hopefully this will be posted on our YouTube channel within the next few weeks. And it was great meeting everyone, and we hope to see you at future events. Please reach out if you have any questions.
Thanks. Bye.